Trevor Simms had accepted exactly 3 truths about customer service. 1. If someone says no worries, there are, in fact, many worries. 2. The phrase "per my last email" is a weapon. 3. Any meeting that includes free muffins is not a meeting, it is an ambush. He carried these truths like a pocket prayer as he stepped into the lobby of Omnicart Prime's Quantum Division, a space designed by someone who had seen pictures of offices in a magazine and thought, yes, but shinier. Everything was glass walls, glass desks, glass plants somehow, their leaves like translucent potato chips. The floor gleamed with a reflective polish that forced Trevor to make eye contact with his own shoes. A receptionist with the serenity of a glacier smiled at him. "Welcome, Trevor. Please take a lanyard." And a commemorative enamel pin. Trevor accepted both. The pin was a tiny cardboard box wreathed in lightning bolts, beneath which the slogan read, "Before you even click." He pinned it to his shirt because resistance, while noble, did not include dental benefits. "Orientation is in the Aurora room," the receptionist said, gesturing to a door that shimmered like an oil slick. "The video will answer all your questions." Trevor had been in corporate orientation before. He knew the video would answer none of his questions and then quiz him on the answers. He took a seat in the dim Aurora room beside a man whose lanyard read Chet, motivational. Chet was smiling at the screen already, as if congratulating it for existing. Lights dimmed. Music, plucky ukulele, corporate's favorite instrument, drizzled from the ceiling. The video began with a drone shot of an improbably cheerful city. A voiceover spoke in that soothing tone familiar to anesthesia and tech commercials. "Welcome to Omnicart Prime Quantum Fulfillment," the voice cooed. "We heard you like packages. So we brought packages to the future. Or, more accurately, we brought the future to your packages." Animated boxes sprouted tiny legs and ran happily towards smiling customers. A postal worker high-fived a photon. A whiteboard diagrammed a worm wearing a hat moving through a hole that wore a smaller hat. Trevor took notes, because note-taking was an involuntary reflex he had developed instead of crying during trainings. His page read, "Quantum equals marketing word. Fulfillment equals legally distinct from happiness. Worm has hat." On screen, a woman in a pristine polo shirt appeared in a living room so clean they must have vacuumed the air. "With Quantum Prime," she said brightly, "your package arrives before you even click by now. That's right, instant delivery across light years, timelines, and brunch plans." A wall of fine print scrolled at high speed along the bottom of the screen. Side effects may include time echoes, alternate address paradoxes, items addressed to better versions of yourself, packages whispering faintly, unwanted inspirational posters, and orca-level loyalty. "Do not taunt your packages." Trevor squinted. The legal text sped up, as if embarrassed by itself. Chet, motivational, leaned over and whispered, "Isn't this exciting? Imagine the KPIs." Trevor had never imagined a KPI. He suspected they lived in the same ecosystem as buzzwords and premium coffee. He made another note, "Do not taunt packages." The video cut to a white-haired scientist in a lab coat standing beside a box with a blinking blue ring. "Quantum entanglement," he declared, tapping the ring. "In layman's terms, we pair your desire with the probability of its arrival, then staple them together across multiversal membranes. Simple." "Simple," Trevor wrote, underlining it twice for irony. The scientist waved a hand. The box vanished. The audience in the video oohed. The box reappeared on a coffee table beside the smiling polo woman. She gasped, clasped her hands, and opened the box to reveal socks. The audience awed as though socks were a miracle. Perhaps they were. Trevor had known many miracles that were mostly socks. "Let's talk support," the voiceover said, and Trevor sat up a little straighter. This was his piece of the pie chart. The screen filled with a cheerful interface, Omni Desk Q, A dashboard that looked like someone had fed confetti to a spreadsheet. A pop-up appeared. New ticket. Why did I get toaster before ordering toaster? Confetti exploded. A badge twinkled. First contact. Next to it, a tooltip. Remember, the customer is temporarily disoriented. Smile with your voice. Trevor wrote, smile with voice, practice alone in mirror, terrifying. A montage followed, support agents wearing headsets the size of hope fields, nodding, typing, handing out coupons that floated like glow-in-the-dark moths. The music swelled. The slogan returned, before you even click. Beneath it, tighter fine print, note, in rare cases, before may include before you were born or before the concept of purchasing was invented. See Appendix Q, time boundaries, suggested. The house lights brightened. A real person stepped up to the front, clapping, a woman with a silver bob, a blazer made of confidence, and a name badge that read Marta, Director, Customer Reality. She didn't smile, she let the room smile at her. Welcome, Quantum Associates, she said, crisp as a new credit card. You are the thin headset between order and chaos. Our mission is simple, reduce friction. She paused, savoring it. Friction is the enemy. Chet nodded so hard his lanyard applauded. Marta clicked a remote. A slide appeared, tenets of quantum support. The bullets marched like soldiers, empathize across timelines. Assume the package knows more than you. Never admit paradox. If the customer asks for a supervisor, you are the supervisor. Trevor's pen hovered over the last one. He wrote, terrifying. We've eliminated shipping delays, Marta went on, pacing. Customers love it. Mostly. Occasionally, a package arrives before the customer has decided to want it. That's a delightful surprise. A hand rose in the back. What if the customer doesn't want the surprise? Marta's smile thinned microscopically. Then we guide them through our seamless quantum return. Our system lets customers send items back to when they originally didn't want them. Trevor felt a familiar customer service itch, an instinct like a cat sensing a bathtub. And if the return arrives before the original shipment? Then, Marta said, we celebrate phenomenal engagement. Any other questions? A man with a valiant mustache raised his hand. What if a package addresses itself to a better version of the customer? Marta's eyes glinted. We call that aspirational fulfillment. Remind them they can always grow into their purchases. Trevor pictured a box addressed to Trevor Simms, astronaut. He had to look away. Marta clapped once. The room obeyed. Desks are assigned. Headsets are calibrated to your biometric optimism. Remember, we never say problem. We say adventure. And if at any point your package screams faintly, that is just the sound of success. Chet stood, fist pumped, ready to conquer his destiny. Trevor stood more slowly, as if the floor were considering alternative outcomes. On his way out, the receptionist handed him a welcome kit, headset, login card, a laminated quantum return flowchart folded 6 times, and a small envelope stamped, open when nervous. Trevor tucked it into his pocket. He suspected it would have a busy day. He found his desk in a sea of other desks, low partitions, higher hopes. A little plant sat waiting for him, plastic, but brave about it. He put on his headset. It hummed to life, syncing, calibrating, congratulating him for his face. The monitor flickered. His dashboard materialized, all cheerful blues and friendly pings. In the corner, a counter read 0 tickets. It winked. 1 ticket. He clicked. New ticket, subject, why did I get toaster before ordering toaster? From, me, but earlier priority, existential. Trevor took a breath. He opened the little envelope in his pocket. Inside was a card that read, smile with your voice. And beneath it, smaller, do not taunt your packages. He smiled with his voice. He clicked reply. And just like that, he began. Trevor had been a customer service rep for 5 years, and in that time he had learned 2 things about complaints: the angrier the customer, the worse their microphone. Nobody ever reads the instructions, especially if those instructions prevent catastrophe. So when the ticket labeled "Why did I get toaster before ordering toaster?" escalated into a live call, Trevor wasn't surprised by the voice that erupted into his headset. It sounded like someone yelling into a soup can from the bottom of a well. "Hello? Hello? Is this a person?" Trevor winced and adjusted the volume down to tolerable migraine. He leaned into his training. "Thank you for calling Omnicart Prime Quantum Support. My name is Trevor, and I'll be your timeline specialist today. May I ask your name?" The customer bellowed, "My name is also Trevor." Trevor blinked. "I see." He pulled up the customer profile. The screen confirmed, Trevor Simms. Same name, same address, though the middle initial was different. His caller was Trevor J. Simms. Our Trevor was Trevor A. Simms. "Mr. Simms," Trevor said carefully, "how can I help you today?" "How? You can start by explaining why 12 boxes of toasters are in my driveway." Trevor clicked open the attached images. Sure enough, 12 identical cardboard boxes, neatly stacked like a shrine to breakfast appliances. Each was labeled with a glowing blue tag: recipient, Trevor Simms, timeline 6B. Our Trevor muttered under his breath, timeline 6B. "Oh, this is above my lanyard level." "What was that?" bellowed the other Trevor. "Just confirming your account, sir." Trevor flipped open the laminated quantum return flowchart from his welcome kit. The arrows tangled like spaghetti. Step 1: read, acknowledge customer's temporal disorientation. "Mr. Simms," Trevor said, "I completely understand why this situation is confusing. Receiving items you have not yet ordered can be disorienting." "Disorienting?" the man thundered. "It's insane. I haven't even decided if I need a toaster. And when I do, it'll be one toaster, not a bakery worth." Trevor nodded, forgetting the customer couldn't see him. "Of course. But if it helps, these shipments are part of our exciting new quantum fulfillment program. Sometimes the system anticipates your needs before you're even aware of them. In your case, it anticipated that you would eventually order a toaster. A toaster, not 12. Trevor consulted the flowchart. Step 2: read, reframe as a benefit. "Well, sir, perhaps the system predicted that one toaster wouldn't be enough. Think of the possibilities: 12 simultaneous slices of toast. An entire breakfast buffet, right at home." There was a long pause. Then the customer screamed, "I live alone." Trevor tapped furiously at the console. The order log showed a cascade of paradoxical entries: order placed, toaster, T. 1. Pending future purchase order multiplied, 12, compensating for statistical error order addressed, Trevor Simms, 6B cross notified, Trevor Simms, a Trevor groaned. The system was entangling him with his alternate. "Mr. Simms," he said, voice tight, "I can absolutely assist with a return. Simply place the boxes back inside their shipping cartons, affix the quantum return sticker." "What sticker?" "There is no sticker." Trevor checked again. Sure enough, the sticker field was blank. "Quantum glitch, sticker not yet invented." He scribbled in his notes, "Action item, invent return sticker, yesterday." The other Trevor's voice dropped, suspicious now. "Wait. Did you say R. Simms? What does the R stand for?" Trevor's blood went cold. Reginald. He had no idea why he said that. His middle name was Robert. "Never trust a Reginald," the other Trevor muttered darkly. Trevor tried again. "Mr. Simms, if you'll just hold, I can escalate this too." "I don't want escalation. I want answers. Why am I paying for 12 toasters I haven't ordered yet?" Trevor forced his best customer service smile, even though it was only for the walls of his cubicle. "Sir, technically you haven't paid yet. The charges will process when you decide to order the toaster in approximately 6 days. Then cancel the order." Trevor checked the system. The cancel button was grayed out. A tooltip hovered, "Cannot cancel until order is placed." He rubbed his temples. "Unfortunately, sir, we can't cancel something that technically hasn't happened yet." There was silence on the line. Then the sound of a man screaming into the void. Trevor scanned the flowchart's final step, "Offer coupon." "Sir," Trevor said quickly, "to apologize for your inconvenience, I can offer you a 10% discount code, valid across all timelines." The other Trevor panted. "What's the code?" Trevor glanced at his screen. The code flashed helpfully, "Toasty Future 10. "Toasty Future 10, Trevor said aloud. Click. The line went dead. Trevor slumped back in his chair. He typed a note into the account, "Customer unsatisfied. Provided coupon." Screamed. Possible existential crisis. Recommend follow-up call from upper management, not me. His headset pinged. New ticket. The subject line read, "I received my neighbor. Please advise." Trevor stared at it. Then he opened his little envelope of comfort from orientation. The card read, "Smile with your voice." He groaned. "Oh, I'm going to need a bigger smile." Trevor took a sip of his coffee, which had cooled into something that tasted like burnt cardboard soaked in regret. He braced himself, clicked accept call, and was immediately assaulted by the sound of frantic breathing. "Hello? Hello? I need help immediately." Trevor adjusted his headset. "Thank you for calling Omnicart Prime Quantum Support. My name is Trevor, and I'll be your timeline specialist today. Can I have your name, please?" "This is Marjorie Pelkins, and there is a man in my box." Trevor typed furiously, "Man in box. Not metaphorical." "Okay, Mrs. Pelkins," he said gently, "let's take a step back. What do you mean by man in your box?" "I ordered a bread maker," Marjorie shrieked. "And what shows up on my porch?" "A box. Big box. Heavy. I open it up and there's my neighbor, Ken, sitting inside. Cross-legged. Looking confused. He was still holding his TV remote." Trevor blinked. "And Ken is your neighbor?" "Yes. He was watching Wheel of Fortune 20 minutes ago, and now he's in my box." Trevor scanned the system. Sure enough, an order line appeared, "Item shipped, bread maker, quantum entangled with neighbor. Status, delivered." He groaned. Someone in logistics had mixed up address entanglements again. He flipped open his quantum return flowchart. Step 1. Acknowledge customer's temporal disorientation. "Mrs. Pelkins, I completely understand why this is confusing. Receiving your neighbor in place of a bread maker can be disorienting." "Disorienting?" Marjorie howled. "He's still in my living room. He's eating my peanut brittle." Trevor tapped the keys harder, as if hitting them more aggressively might produce a solution. "I can initiate a return authorization for Ken." "What does that mean?" Trevor swallowed. "You put him back in the box, reseal it, and place it on your porch. Our system will take care of the rest." There was a pause. Then Marjorie hissed, "He weighs 200 pounds. I am 74. You want me to wrestle Ken into a box?" Trevor grimaced. "Mom, do you happen to have duct tape?" A muffled male voice interrupted in the background. "Marjorie, this is ridiculous. I was watching Pat Sajak, now I'm in your house. Give me my remote back." Trevor leaned toward his mic. "Mr. Ken? Hello, this is Omnicart Prime. I can assure you this is just a temporary shipping miscalibration." Ken barked, "You kidnapped me with your shipping miscalibration." "Technically," Trevor said carefully, "you were not kidnapped. You were Misdelivered. The flowchart step 2 flashed in his head, reframe as a benefit. Look at it this way, Trevor said brightly. Omnicart anticipated you wanted to visit Marjorie. Think of it as complementary social interaction. Are you insane? Both Ken and Marjorie shouted at once. Trevor scrambled. All right, Mrs. Pelkins, let's focus on next steps. Do you still have the shipping carton? Yes, it's in the foyer. Great. Could you please guide Ken into the box? There was a scuffle, thuds, muffled swearing. Marjorie grunted, he won't fit. His knees are sticking out. Try diagonal, Trevor suggested, as if Ken were an awkward IKEA lamp. More thuds. Ken roared, I am not an IKEA lamp. Trevor wiped sweat from his forehead. His console chimed, return pending, human mail. ETA, variable. Just when Trevor thought things couldn't escalate further, another notification popped onto his screen, item out for delivery, bread maker, timeline correction. Mrs. Pelkins, Trevor said, good news. Your bread maker is en route. The doorbell rang in the background. Marjorie shrieked, it's here. A moment later, oh for heaven's sake, it's a bread maker and another Ken. Trevor froze. Another Ken? Yes. She wailed. 2 Kens now. Both holding remotes. One's yelling at the other for changing the channel. Trevor typed in his notes, customer has surplus Kens. Recommend supervisor callback, not me. Marjorie's voice crackled through, ragged with exhaustion. What do I do with all these Kens? Trevor read the only line left on the flowchart, offer coupon. Mrs. Pelkins, he said smoothly, I can offer you a 15% discount code for your next purchase. Valid across timelines. Code is, Bread Ken 15. There was silence. Then the sound of a box slamming shut, duct tape tearing, and 2 men protesting from inside cardboard. Marjorie exhaled. Fine. But if a third Ken shows up, I'm calling the police. The line went dead. Trevor sat back, eyes twitching. His monitor chimed again. New ticket, subject, received grandson's graduation cap 15 years early. Trevor whispered to his desk plant, smile with your voice. Smile with your voice. The plant, plastic and unhelpful, did not reply. Trevor knew the exact moment his breaking point had been reached, the phrase what do I do with all these Kens? Echoing in his headset like a war drum. By the time the line clicked dead, his palms were sweaty, his flowchart was bent in 3 different dimensions, and his plastic desk plant had acquired the expression of a confidant forced to endure trauma. His console pinged with 3 more tickets, received bread maker before electricity was invented. Please advise. Package contains note from me warning me not to open package. Opened it. Now what? Box delivered with faint screaming inside. Should I feed it? Trevor leaned back, removed his headset, and muttered, I'm going to die here. As if summoned by despair, Marta, director of customer reality, appeared at his cubicle. Her silver bob glowed faintly in the fluorescent light, and her blazer carried the crisp authority of someone who had never been put on hold. Trevor, she said, her voice sharp enough to file paperwork. With me. Trevor obeyed. You didn't not obey Marta. Her office looked like it had been staged for a documentary about power. Glass desk, walls lined with books that no one had read but everyone respected, and a single succulent that looked like it had a personal assistant. She gestured him into a chair that had been designed by sadists. How are we feeling about the launch? Trevor opened his mouth, but Marta raised a finger. That was rhetorical. We're feeling great. She slid a binder across the desk. Its cover shimmered faintly, quantum return procedures, do not read aloud. Trevor eyed it like a bomb. With respect, Marta, the system is, well, broken. Customers are receiving people. And multiples of people. And in one case, what might be a warning from the future. Marta steepled her fingers. Broken is not the word we use. We say innovative. Trevor blinked. Innovative? Of course, Marta said smoothly. Traditional delivery is linear. Linear is boring. Our system is non-linear. Non-linear is exciting. Customers love excitement. Trevor thought of Marjorie Pelkin's duct taping two screaming Kens into a box. I'm not sure love is the right word. Marta tapped the binder. The procedures are clear. When in doubt, follow the flowchart. I did follow the flowchart, Trevor said. It ended in coupons. Exactly. Marta's eyes gleamed. Coupons are universal. They soothe across dimensions. Never underestimate the palliative power of a discount. Trevor opened the binder cautiously. The first page read, Step 1, if customer receives item they didn't order, thank them for their loyalty. Step 2, if customer receives alternate version of themselves, congratulate them on personal growth. Step 3, if customer receives item from the future, encourage them to leave a review when the eventual occasion arises. Step 4, if customer receives package that contains itself, escalate to legal. Trevor closed the binder. This is insane. Marta's smile was sharp. Insane is not the word we use. We say scalable. She stood and began pacing, hands clasped behind her back like a general preparing for war. Omnicart Prime is not just a delivery service. It's a destiny service. We don't send customers what they want. We send them what they will want, could want, or should want. That's our competitive advantage. Trevor raised a hand timidly. With respect, Marta, Mrs. Pelkins did not want two Kens. Marta waved it off. She'll learn to appreciate them. Households need spares. Trevor's mouth opened, then closed again. He had no words for that. Marta leaned forward, her voice dropping into the cadence of a sermon. Look, Trevor. Friction is the enemy. Customers don't like waiting. They don't like uncertainty. Our system eliminates both. Trevor said, by replacing them with paradoxes. Marta smiled. Paradoxes are just opportunities with better lighting. She pressed the binder into his hands. It hummed faintly, like a small appliance about to explode. You'll be fine. Remember, empathize, reframe, coupon. That's all support is. Trevor clutched the binder. And if the package screams faintly? Marta's smile sharpened. Smile louder. Back at the cubicle, Trevor shuffled back to his desk, binder in hand. His headset chimed, insistent. New ticket. The subject line read, received grandson's graduation cap 15 years early. Please advise. He sighed, slid the binder onto his desk, and muttered to his plastic plant, I miss linear time. The plant, stoic as ever, refused to comment. Trevor adjusted his headset, took a breath, and clicked accept. A woman's voice burst into his ear, ragged with panic. This package is from the future. It has my grandson's graduation cap in it. He's 2. Trevor winced. Thank you for calling Omnicart Prime Quantum Support. My name is Trevor, and I'll be your timeline specialist today. Let me just confirm, your grandson is currently a toddler? Yes. He was finger painting half an hour ago. Now I have a mortarboard embroidered with class of 2039. Trevor's screen lit up. Sure enough, order shipped, graduation cap, timeline predicted. Status, delivered 15 years early. He reached for the binder Marta had given him. The humming volume seemed heavier today. Flipping to section F, future items, he read, if customer receives item from the future, thank them for their foresight. Suggest they store items safely until relevant occasion. Encourage review upon eventual usage. Trevor sighed. Mom, the system anticipated your grandson's future graduation. Think of it as, he searched for the word, thoughtful. Thoughtful? She barked. It's cursed. He tried it on and started reciting SAT words. Trevor scribbled in his notes, child prematurely academic. Potential liability. No sooner had he logged the complaint than another ticket bloomed across his screen. Subject: I received a box labeled me, if I ate more vegetables. Trevor clicked. The attached photo showed a man standing in his living room, glowering at a cardboard twin. The twin looked identical, except taller, tanner, and radiating smug health. The caption read, "He keeps judging my snacks." Trevor pinched the bridge of his nose. He consulted the binder again. Section P, Parallel Selves. If customer receives alternate version of self, congratulate them on aspirational growth. Remind them personal improvement is a journey. Recommend photo opportunity for marketing purposes. Trevor keyed in his response, "Sir, please understand this is aspirational fulfillment. OmniCart is simply helping you see your best self." The reply came instantly, "He just ate all my kale chips. I didn't even like kale chips until now." Trevor typed back, "That's progress. Congratulations." He logged the ticket as resolved. It didn't feel resolved. The next ticket was less cheerful. Subject: Package contains note that says do not open until invasion. Trevor clicked it open. The photo showed a box. Inside the box, a folded slip of paper. On the paper, in ominous handwriting, "Do not open until invasion." The customer's message read, "Should I open it?" Trevor's blood ran cold. He turned to the binder. Flipped. Flipped again. Nothing. There was no section for invasion notes. He tapped his console for escalation. The option was grayed out. Tooltip: Escalation not yet invented. He typed carefully, "OmniCart recommends you follow package instructions exactly. Do not open until relevant event." The customer replied, "When is the invasion scheduled?" Trevor stared at the screen. Slowly typed, "Soon. Probably. Smile with your voice." By lunchtime, the tickets blurred together. Received pet goldfish still alive. Ordered fish sticks. Box contained my future ex-husband. Divorce papers included. Ordered yoga mat, got 400 yoga mats in infinite loop. They're multiplying in the garage. Package keeps whispering my name at night. How do I mute it? Trevor logged, responded, offered coupons. His flowchart was starting to look like abstract art. His plant was starting to look concerned. At 2:17 p.m., a box appeared directly on his desk. No delivery person, no ping. Just a box. Label: 2, Trevor Simms, Department Head. Trevor froze. He was not a department head. He was not even sure he was the head of his own desk. The box pulsed faintly, humming with the same smug glow as Marta's binder. He whispered, "Nope." His plant whispered nothing in reply, which somehow made it worse. Trevor reached for the box. His hands shook. He lifted the lid. Inside was a nameplate, Trevor Simms, Department Head. Trevor dropped it back in the box like it was radioactive. He sat very still, headset buzzing faintly with a new ticket, mind whirling with one thought: the system knows what I want before I do. And it thinks I want promotion. He wasn't sure if that was hope, doom, or both. The box sat on Trevor's desk like a smug cat. The glowing label still pulsed, 2, Trevor Simms, Department Head. Trevor circled it as if it might bite. His headset pinged with new tickets, but for once, he didn't click. He just stared. His plastic desk plant, stoic until now, seemed to lean slightly away from the box. Trevor muttered to himself, "This is a mistake. A misprint. Someone in logistics hit the wrong key. It's not. It's not for me." He checked the label again. The system ID matched his badge number. His middle initial. Even his workstation code. No mistake. Trevor stood, clutching the box, and marched toward Marta's office. If anyone could untangle this, it was the director of customer reality herself. Marta was on a call when Trevor entered, her voice smooth as silk but sharp as a scalpel. "Yes, Mr. President, I understand the concern. No, the screaming packages are not a defect. They're an auditory feature. Customers love features." She ended the call with a click and fixed Trevor with a smile that had survived wars. "Trevor, what seems to be the adventure?" He set the box on her glass desk. It's for me." Marta tilted her head, studying the glowing label. She opened the lid, saw the nameplate, and arched a brow. "Congratulations. You're promoted." Trevor sputtered. "I'm not promoted." Marta tapped the nameplate. "Clearly you are. The system says so." Trevor's throat went dry. "But, this isn't how promotions work." Marta smiled. "Trevor, you work for Omnicart. This is exactly how promotions work." Trevor sat heavily in the sadist-designed chair. "So the system can just assign me a future? It anticipates desires," Marta said, as if reciting scripture. "Customers. Employees. Shareholders. It knows what people will want before they know it themselves." Trevor looked at the nameplate again. It gleamed like destiny, or like bait. "But what if I don't want it?" he asked quietly. Marta's smile thinned. "Then the system will send you a coupon." Trevor groaned. Back at his desk, Trevor kept the box in his peripheral vision. He didn't put the nameplate up. He didn't throw it away either. His console dinged with another ticket, subject, received package labeled me, but successful. Trevor stared at it, then at his own unopened box. For the first time, he wondered, was he resolving customer complaints? Or rehearsing his own future? Late that afternoon, as the cubicle farm buzzed with the weary sighs of support agents, Trevor swore he heard something. A faint sound, from inside the box. It wasn't screaming. Not exactly. More like chuckling. He leaned in, pressed his ear against the cardboard. The voice whispered, "Smile with your voice, department head." Trevor yanked his head back, heart hammering. The box sat there, silent and smug. His plastic plant leaned just a little farther away. The first sign that something was wrong came not through Trevor's console, but through the air vents. A faint rubbery smell, like the world's largest exercise class. Then came the thuds, soft, rhythmic, like a herd of elephants practicing downward dog. Trevor adjusted his headset. "Ah, Marta? Is there something going on in the warehouse?" Her voice came over the intercom, brisk as ever. "No adventure is too large for Omnicart Prime. Remain at your desks." That was corporate speak for yes, but don't ask. At 11:07 a.m., the doors at the far end of the support floor burst open. A yoga mat rolled out. Then another. Then another. By 11:08, a tide of identical teal mats was tumbling through the cubicles, burying swivel chairs, scattering staplers, and knocking the headset off Chet, motivational. Trevor climbed onto his chair, clutching his binder. "This is it," he muttered. "This is how I die, suffocated by non-slip PVC." A red alert flashed on his console, return loop detected. Item, yoga mat. Quantity, infinite. The log scrolled, customer request, return yoga mat. System response, reship yoga mat, preemptively. Customer action, return again. System response, reship again, earlier. Trevor groaned. They're boomeranging. His flowchart had nothing for this. The binder hummed unhelpfully. His plastic plant bobbed along, half submerged in teal. Marta waded through the tide, yoga mats clinging to her blazer like barnacles. Her silver bob remained immaculate. "This is a feature," she announced, as though sheer confidence could repel foam. "Customers are experiencing abundance." Trevor shouted over the squishy chaos, "Abundance is crushing Chet." Sure enough, Chet had disappeared beneath a pile of mats. A hand stuck up briefly, giving a thumbs up before vanishing again. Even in the flood, the console didn't stop pinging. New ticket, received yoga mat before ordering. Now receiving one every 5 minutes. Garage structurally compromised. Box contained yoga mat addressed to my unborn child. I am not pregnant. My dog keeps fetching the mats. There are now too many dogs. Trevor flailed for the mute button. We can't resolve this. The system's stuck. Marta's eyes glittered. Then we escalate. She tapped her watch. The lights flickered. Moments later, a group in grey suits strode in, their briefcases humming ominously. Their badges read, Galactic Bureau of Probability. Trevor's blood went cold. He'd only heard rumors, inspectors who audited odds, regulators who kept the universe's dice fair. One of them surveyed the sea of yoga mats, sighed, and said in a voice like thunder, "You've destabilized the probability curve." Trevor whispered, "I knew it." The inspector's gaze fell on him. "And you are?" Trevor swallowed. "Customer support." The inspector nodded solemnly. "Then you are the most guilty of all." Trevor's headset beeped again. Another ticket. Subject, received box addressed to me, apologizing. He thought, that's tomorrow Trevor's problem. But tomorrow might not arrive, not if the Bureau had anything to say about it. The yoga mats had finally stopped multiplying, only because the Bureau's inspectors had raised their hands in unison and snapped their fingers. Reality itself seemed to sigh in relief as the tide of teal mats froze mid-roll and vanished into thin air. The floor was left slick with static, Chet, motivational, poking his head out from beneath a desk like a prairie dog that had seen eternity. That, he wheezed, was energizing. Trevor, meanwhile, was face to face with the Bureau. There were 3 inspectors. They looked human at first glance, but only if you squinted past the details. Their suits were grey in a shade that seemed allergic to color, their briefcases emitted a faint ticking noise, and their eyes. Their eyes were like dice, 6-sided pupils that kept rolling whenever they blinked. The leader, tall and thin, spoke first. "We are the Galactic Bureau of Probability. We regulate chance, odds, and all stochastic processes within this quadrant of the cosmos. We keep the universe fair. You," he gestured to the room, "are cheating." Marta stepped forward, hands clasped with serene defiance. Omnicart Prime is innovating, not cheating. Our customers receive what they will want, could want, or should want. We've eliminated delays. The inspector's dice eyes clicked to a stop, landing on Snake Eyes. His voice was glacial. You've eliminated uncertainty. That is forbidden. Trevor tried to edge back into his cubicle, but the shorter inspector, a woman with pupils showing 3 and 4, snapped her fingers. His chair rolled forward like a guilty witness. You, she said. Support agent. Trevor swallowed. Me? Yes. You are the front line. You are the membrane between absurdity and acceptance. You make the impossible seem customer-friendly. You are complicit. Trevor's throat went dry. I just offer coupons. Exactly, she said. A bribe to smooth probability crimes. Trevor made a note, new job title, probability criminal. The inspectors snapped open their briefcases. Instead of papers, shimmering probability curves spilled out, glowing graphs of every possible outcome, knotted like spaghetti. The third inspector, whose eyes rolled 7s that shouldn't exist on dice, jabbed at the glowing mess. See here, Earth's likelihood of spontaneous toast events has increased 300%. Entire timelines are drowning in bread makers. And look at the Ken curve, it's fractal. Do you know what happens when you let Kens go exponential? Trevor whispered, they form a council? Worse, the inspector hissed. They unionize. Marta's smile was sharp enough to cut. Gentlemen, lady, statistical abstractions, I think you're misunderstanding our mission. Customers hate waiting. We're simply giving them what they want, when they want it. The leader's voice boomed. No, you are giving them what they will want, before they decide to want it. That corrupts probability. Decision itself collapses. Free will erodes. Trevor raised a timid hand. So, you're saying we're too efficient? The inspector rounded on him. You are catastrophic. The leader snapped his briefcase shut. The graphs vanished like snuffed candles. This division must be shut down immediately. If it is not, the Bureau will revoke Earth's probability license. Trevor blinked. Earth has a license? Of course, the inspector said. Every planet does. Without it, you'll plummet into statistical chaos. Imagine a world where coins always land on their edge, traffic lights never turn green, and the lottery is won exclusively by raccoons. Trevor whispered, that already explains a lot. The inspector leaned in close, his dice eyes rolling to 6 and 6. You have 24 hours. Shut down the system, or chance itself abandons you. As the Bureau filed out, Marta turned to the assembled staff, her smile undented. This is excellent news. It means we're disruptive. The Bureau only targets winners. Trevor gaped. They said the universe will collapse. Collapsing is just another word for scaling, Marta said sweetly. Chet raised a hand from under a yoga mat scrap. Do we still get bonuses? Trevor rubbed his temples. He was fairly sure the only bonus in his future was a coupon for 15% off his own funeral. And yet, his desk still held that unopened nameplate. The next morning began deceptively normal. The fluorescent lights hummed their usual migraine hymn. Chet was already giving himself a pep talk in the break room mirror, and Trevor was trying, unsuccessfully, to make his desk coffee taste less like despair by adding 3 sugar packets and a prayer. Then the package appeared. No knock at the door, no ping from the system. One moment his desk was barren, the next it contained a cardboard box, humming faintly like it was plugged into destiny. The label glowed, to Omnicart Prime Quantum Division, Director of Customer Reality Contents, cease operations immediately. Trevor froze. His headset pinged with 3 new tickets, but he ignored them. His plant seemed to lean toward the box, as though curious. Marta swept into the room moments later, silver bob immaculate, blazer gleaming with executive denial. She spotted the box on Trevor's desk and frowned ever so slightly, the facial equivalent of an earthquake. Where did this come from? She asked. Trevor pointed. It appeared. For you. Marta examined the label, then the humming box. She lifted the lid cautiously. Inside sat a single ivory envelope, thick and heavy, sealed with wax stamped in the shape of a dice roll. Snake eyes. The envelope read in bold letters, cease operations immediately. Trevor's stomach dropped. That's the shutdown order. From the Bureau. It must have delivered itself. Marta closed the box with deliberate calm, as if smothering a dangerous animal. We don't open bad news. Trevor's eyes widened. But it literally says, Marta raised a finger. Trevor. Perception is reality. If I don't open it, it isn't real. Unopened mail does not constitute legal notice. Trevor sputtered. That's not how law works. That's exactly how law works, Marta said smoothly. Why do you think corporations keep lawyers? To explain away envelopes. Trevor's console pinged. New ticket, subject, received package labeled cease operations. Should I open it? He choked. It's spreading. Marta smiled. Then it's scalable. She pushed the box toward Trevor. Hold on to this. It seems to like you. Trevor recoiled. Like me? It's humming. That's respect, Marta said crisply. It recognizes leadership qualities. Don't fight it. Trevor thought of the unopened nameplate still sitting in his bottom drawer. Department head. Now this. System wasn't just predicting his future, it was delivering it, piece by piece. He whispered, I don't want this. Marta's smile sharpened. Wanting is irrelevant. The package always arrives. Later, at his desk, Trevor sat staring at the sealed box. His plastic plant was cowering behind his monitor. The box pulsed once. Then again. He leaned closer. A faint voice whispered from inside, Open me, department head. Trevor yanked back, heart racing. He shoved the box under his desk and muttered, Nope. Not today. Not ever. But he knew the system didn't care what he wanted. The package was here. It was always here. And unopened envelopes had a way of opening themselves. Trevor spent the night at his desk. Not intentionally, he had tried to leave, but each time he stood up, the box hummed louder until he sat back down. Eventually, exhaustion triumphed, and he drifted off, head pillowed on his binder of quantum return procedures. He woke to the whisper. Open me, department head. Trevor jerked upright. The office was dark, empty. Only the glow of the box under his desk pulsed like a heartbeat. His plant, eerily lit, cast a shadow that looked like it was praying. He pulled the box into the open. The envelope inside gleamed ivory, wax seal unbroken. On his monitor, tickets continued to pile up, unheeded. Package contained my obituary. Am I obliged to read it? Received fridge before ordering. Already full of leftovers I don't recognize. Box labeled end of all things. Unsure whether to sign for it. Trevor ignored them all. His eyes stayed fixed on the envelope. If he opened it, reality might unravel. If he left it closed, Marta would continue spinning doom into scalability. Either way, probability was crumbling. The office door opened. Marta swept in, perfectly composed as always, though her eyes betrayed a sleepless night. Still here? She asked. Trevor gestured helplessly at the box. It won't leave me alone. Marta knelt slightly, her blazer creaking like well-oiled machinery. She touched the lid reverently. This is power, Trevor. Do you understand? An unopened order is pure potential. Until you open it, it's both compliance and defiance. Alive and dead. It's Schrödinger's memo. Trevor croaked, it's also humming. Then it's working, Marta said with grim satisfaction. Trevor stood abruptly, clutching the envelope. His hands shook. The Bureau gave us a day. If I open this, we're done. If I don't, we're cursed. Either way, it's over. Marta's smile didn't waver. Or we ignore it. Customers don't want endings, Trevor. They want service. Eternal service. Trevor stared at her. For the first time, he realized Marta wasn't resisting the system, she was serving it. She believed in it more than she believed in probability itself. And Trevor had a choice. He glanced at the return sticker sheet taped inside his binder, mostly blank, but one square glowed faintly. Quantum return label, authorized for all items, even conceptual. Trevor exhaled. His smile was shaky, but it was there. He slapped the glowing return sticker onto the envelope. The box shuddered. The humming rose into a whine. Marta's eyes widened. What have you done? She hissed. Trevor held firm. If the order says cease operations immediately, then the best way to obey is to return it immediately, before it can arrive. He shoved the envelope back into the box and sealed it. The box vanished with a soft pop, like a bubble bursting. The lights flickered. His monitor blinked through 1,000 tickets before clearing. His plant straightened, leaves no longer cowering. The office grew quiet. Too quiet. Trevor's headset clicked once, then dissolved into nothing. Cubicles around him vanished like mist. Desks gone, co-workers gone, even Marta herself, her silver bob unraveled into static before she could shout another slogan. Trevor stood alone in an empty grey void. The only thing left on the floor was his nameplate, Trevor Simms, department head. He picked it up with trembling hands. "Well," he muttered. "Guess I got the promotion after all." Then the void folded in on itself, and Trevor was gone. Trevor woke in his own bed. Not the cubicle chair. Not the humming office void. Just bed. His sheets were twisted into a knot, his alarm clock blinked 12 o'clock as if time had given up, and his apartment smelled faintly of burnt coffee. For one blissful moment, he thought it had all been a dream. Then he spotted the box. It sat neatly on his kitchen table, unassuming, brown cardboard with a plain shipping label, to Trevor Simms, contents, socks. Trevor crept toward it like a man approaching a wild animal. He lifted the lid. Inside were socks. Perfectly ordinary socks, grey, cotton, slightly disappointing. He exhaled shakily. Socks. Real socks. Nothing humming. Nothing glowing. No smug nameplates. No Ken. He pressed the socks to his face. They smelled like fabric softener and salvation. Trevor sat at the table, clutching the socks like a life raft. His apartment was quiet. Blessedly quiet. No headset. No console pinging with impossible tickets. No Marta materializing with slogans sharp enough to draw blood. He laughed, ragged, disbelieving. "I'm free." His plastic desk plant wasn't there. Just the ordinary ficus in the corner, drooping the way normal plants drooped. For the first time in days, or perhaps weeks, or perhaps timelines, Trevor felt safe. And yet, he stared at the socks. Had he ordered them? He couldn't remember. He probably had. Everyone needed socks. But had he clicked by now? His relief curdled into unease. He checked the receipt. The order date read, tomorrow. Trevor's throat went dry. No. No, no, no. Not again. The socks twitched. Just a little. Trevor froze. The cardboard box pulsed faintly, once, twice, like a heartbeat. And then, softly, from deep inside the socks, a voice whispered, "Return initiated." Trevor dropped them. They landed on the table with an innocent flop, grey and harmless, but he could have sworn they giggled. He backed away, shaking his head, muttering to himself. "Nope. Not my problem. Not anymore. I quit. I'm done." But somewhere, faint and inevitable, a console chimed. New ticket. Trevor moved out a week later. Not far, just 3 blocks over, into a studio apartment above a laundromat. It smelled like detergent and lost hopes, but it was blissfully free of cubicles, motivational posters, and Marta's blazer. He swore off online shopping entirely. Cash only. Local stores. If he couldn't buy it in person, barefoot and visibly sweating, he didn't need it. For a while, life was almost normal. Almost. One evening, he came home to find an envelope on his doormat. Not humming. Not glowing. Just plain white paper, the kind anyone could have slid under a door. He bent down, heart thudding. The return address read, Omnicart Prime, Customer Reality Division. His hands shook as he tore it open. Inside was a single card. "Dear Trevor, Congratulations on your ongoing employment. Your resignation has been declined. Your next shift begins tomorrow. At the bottom, in neat corporate font, smile with your voice. Trevor dropped the card, backed away, muttering, "No. No. I quit. I quit." But in the corner of the room, on the wobbly studio table, sat a box he hadn't noticed before. Label, to Trevor Simms, Regional Director. It pulsed faintly. And from inside, muffled but smug, came a voice he knew too well. "Thank you for your loyalty. Your promotion has already shipped." Trevor closed his eyes, groaned, and whispered the only prayer he had left, "Please. At least let it come with socks." And that concludes Quantum Delivery Service. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this story, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss the next upload. New narrated sci-fi stories are released every week. Thanks again for joining me, and remember, always check your packages before you open them. Especially if they're humming.